You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
You know, for the last 20 years or so, using a computer has basically been an exercise in map reading.
Oh, absolutely. You turn on a screen, you look at this rigid grid of icons, you navigate a maze of menus.
Right. And if you click the exact right coordinates, you get the result you want. But it's entirely on you to know where things are.
Yeah, the cognitive load is all on the user.
Exactly. But looking at this massive stack of early July 2026 tech drops we've collected for you today, I mean, from Apple physically shrinking its screens to Google launching these just dirt cheap image generators, we are watching that old map get burned in real time.
We really are.
So our mission for this deep dive is to uncover the hidden thread here. We want to show you how the fundamental rules of design, digital interaction, and even like human knowledge are being radically rewired by AI.
Yeah, because if we connect this to the bigger picture, we are witnessing a complete architectural shift.
Yeah.
For the last couple of years, AI was treated as this really cool bolt-on feature, a neat parlor trick.
Right, like a gimmick.
Exactly. But what the sources we're digging into today show is that the entire tech industry is realizing AI actually demands entirely new foundational infrastructures.
It's not just a sprinkle on top anymore.
No, it's the bedrock. And that shift is causing some incredible breakthroughs, but, and we'll get into this, it is also causing severe, measurable human burnout at the exact same time.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I want to start with the physical screens in our pockets, since AI is quite literally changing the shape of the hardware itself.
Yeah, that Apple update is fascinating.
It's wild. So Apple is shrinking the iPhone 18 Pro's dynamic island by about 35%.
Right, moving us closer to that holy grail of an all-screen phone.
Which, the source's hint, was heavily telegraphed by that glowing iOS 27 Siri AI interface. Like, the interface is basically eating the hardware. And this smaller cutout is eventually coming to the MacBook Ultra and the iPhone 18 too.
Well, the hardware is getting out of the way because the underlying philosophy of the software is completely transforming. You see this so vividly with the Apple Watch in watchOS 27.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. The traditional app grid, that little honeycomb of circles we've all been tapping for a decade, it's just being tucked away.
Yeah, it's still there if you really, really want it.
Right, but you have to use a shortcut to find it now. The new default home screen is this dynamic app grid.
Which is a huge paradigm shift.
It really is. It literally puts Siri right in the dead center, and then it surrounds the assistant with these AI-powered suggestions based on what you might need in that exact moment.
And we are seeing this dynamic approach mirror how we retrieve data everywhere. Like in iOS 27, Siri AI is drastically improving photo search using just natural language voice commands.
Oh, thank goodness.
I know, right? You don't have to scroll through years of timelines anymore. You just ask for a photo of a specific object or person.
Though the sources do point out it still struggles a bit with complex or time-based queries.
True. It's not perfect yet, but the trajectory is undeniable.
I was trying to wrap my head around this shift for you guys listening, and it's like we're moving away from a giant filing cabinet.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Right. For decades, if you wanted a file, you had to know exactly which drawer to open, which folder to pull, which piece of paper to read. That's the old grid of apps. But now it's like having an eager assistant standing in front of that cabinet.
Just waiting to help.
Exactly. You don't even have to open a drawer. The assistant just anticipates the folder you need before you even finish asking, or sometimes before you ask at all.
That framing highlights exactly why this matters for the people actually building these systems. We are shifting from what designers call deterministic interfaces.
Meaning, if a user clicks button X, action Y happens every single time.
Right, exactly. We're shifting from that to probabilistic interfaces. The system is constantly calculating probabilities to guess the user's intent.
So the eager assistant is essentially just making a highly educated guess.
And as we all know, an educated guess can be wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
There is a really fascinating source in our stack outlining the 39 principles for designing human-AI interaction.
Yeah, that was a great read.
It explicitly states that because AI is probabilistic, the old rules of user interface design just don't fully apply anymore. Designers now have to prioritize transparency, recoverability, and above all, keeping the user in control.
So you basically have to design for graceful failure.
Exactly. You have to show evidence instead of just a confidence score so the user knows why the assistant handed them that specific folder.
But, okay, for that eager assistant to even have a chance at grabbing the right folder, the filing cabinet itself has to be immaculately organized.
Oh, 100%.
Like, if the assistant reaches for a specific folder and there are 50 different, slightly altered versions of it scattered everywhere, it's going to fail. So how are companies actually fixing the cabinet?
Well, this is where the back end of design is experiencing an absolute earthquake. Let's look at Figma.
Right, the design platform.
Yeah. Their 2026 releases things like their new AI agents, Code Connect, and the Make tool. They don't just work by magic. They depend entirely on a company's underlying design system being flawless.
Which is rare. I mean, have you ever used an app where you go to the checkout page and suddenly the buy button looks slightly different?
All the time.
Maybe it's a different shade of green or a weird font, and it just makes you intuitively feel like your credit card data isn't safe.
Yeah, that is exactly what designers call drift. In the past, drift, those inconsistencies, rogue colors, mismatched buttons, that was basically a secret shame kept hidden by one or two maintainers.
Like sweeping dust under the rug.
Right. The user might notice a weird button, but the company could kind of ignore it. But now, with Figma's AI tools trying to read those files to generate code automatically, a broken system fails visibly across whole departments.
And Figma even launched a check designs tool that puts a hard number on those inconsistencies. Like it literally counts the drift.
It's holding teams accountable.
Yeah. And there's this new concept being pushed. I think it was coined by Figma's Jake Albaugh at Config 2026 called hypertokens. But wait, I'm stuck on this hypertokens thing.
It's a bit technical, yeah.
Yeah. If I'm a designer, am I no longer picking colors and shapes? Am I just writing code now? Help me understand what my day-to-day actually looks like here.
Okay, think of a hypertoken as a tightly sealed, unbreakable package of design instructions.
Okay.
So instead of a designer manually applying brand red and then 12-point font and then rounded corners to every single button and risking a typo every time a hypertoken bundles all those properties into one named unit called, say, primary button.
Oh, I see.
So the AI agent goes to build a new screen. It just grabs the hypertoken, it reads the files accurately instead of hallucinating a square green button.
Okay, so it's removing all that manual, repetitive labor.
Exactly. And they are applying that same logic to workflows with a feature called skills.
Right, I saw that.
Figma allows teams to create reusable AI workflows in plain English. So an organization can teach the Figma agent its specific standardized processes for critique prep or onboarding or summarizing projects.
And it integrates directly with tools like Slack and Notion, too.
It does. And to prove they are taking this seriously at an enterprise level, Figma just achieved ISO 42001 certification.
Which is a massive deal, right? That's the independently verified AI governance standard.
Huge deal. They ran a 2-stage audit testing 38 different controls across risk management and human oversight.
So it signals a crucial maturity in the market. We're moving away from the era of tech companies just self-reporting, trust us, our AI is safe, to actually providing independently verified evidence of trust.
Exactly. The Wild West days are ending.
I do have to play devil's advocate here, though.
Go for it.
I hear all this, the hypertokens, the rigid check tool, counting inconsistencies, the standardized workflows. If this tool is strictly counting drift, and as the sources note, it frequently flags intentional creative design exceptions as false positives.
It does happen.
Doesn't this turn creative designers into, rigid database managers?
Yeah.
Doesn't demanding pixel-perfect, hyper-organized systems just completely kill the spontaneous creativity of design?
What's fascinating here is that the sources argue the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, the pixel pushing becomes more rigid, but it actually elevates the designer's role. There is an insightful piece in our stack on the future of UX in an AI world.
I remember that one.
It points out the UX designers are being pushed far beyond basic interface tweaking and into strategic leadership.
Ah, because the health of the system is now a massive liability.
It's a concrete delivery risk. If the system is a mess, the AI fails, the automated code fails, and the whole product breaks. Designers now have greater influence over product direction and cross-functional decision-making because they are the ones architecting the data the AI relies on to function.
That makes a lot of sense, but that need for perfect foundational data isn't just true for design files and button colors.
No, not at all.
It's also true for the raw information the AI is spitting out to users.
It is the only real currency right now. Without trustworthy, human-curated data, AI just hallucinates or at best, produces incredibly generic outputs.
Which perfectly explains the massive rebrand of Stack Overflow we've got in our sources.
Oh, that was a huge move.
Right. The branding agency Kodo just redesigned them, giving them a new custom typeface called Stack Sans, and anchoring the whole brand around this concept of always in build.
I love that phrase.
Yeah. They are aggressively repositioning themselves away from just being a simple Q&A forum for coders. They are planting their flag as a critical living resource of human-validated knowledge specifically for the AI era.
Because human-verified answers, where real engineers debate and upvote the correct solution, that is the gold mine that AI companies desperately need to train their models.
Because synthetic data just isn't cutting it anymore.
Exactly. AI training on AI-generated data eventually degrades. It needs that human touch.
And you see startups realizing that specialized human-curated data is their only real defense. Look at Base44.
The vibe coding platform.
Yeah, they just got acquired by Wix for $80 million. And for anyone listening who's scratching their head at that term, vibe coding basically means creating software just by talking to the AI in plain English. You give it the vibe or the intent like, build me an app that tracks my dog's meals, and the AI writes all the code.
But to make vibe coding actually work without constantly breaking, the AI needs a flawless translation layer between human intent and machine code.
And that's Base44's secret weapon. They launched their own AI model called Base1, and it's trained specifically on tens of millions of their own user interactions.
They watched how real humans tried to build things.
Exactly. They saw where humans failed and trained the model on that friction. They are betting everything that this deep specialization is their defensible moat against massive frontier labs or their bigger rival, Lovable, which is sitting at, what, $500 million in annual recurring revenue?
Which is massive,
Jeez.
but it all comes down to the quality of the mental models you feed the machine.
Here's where it gets really interesting. There's an article in our sources titled Design for a Dead Language, and it illustrates this beautifully.
Oh, the Duolingo piece.
Yes. It points out that modern language learning apps like Duolingo actually inherited their basic structure from a 1788 Prussian method for teaching Latin.
A pedagogical method that was designed purely to teach a dead language at scale, conflating literacy with actual fluency.
It prioritized gradable metrics, grammar drills, checklists over actual fluid communication. It wasn't about speaking, it was just about grading.
Right, which isn't how humans naturally learn to talk.
Not at all. Newer tools in 2026, like Practica, are ditching that entirely for immersive, conversation-based learning. And reading that piece, it gave me this crazy thought.
Lay it on me.
It's like we've been trying to train a world-class marathon runner on a diet exclusively made of stale 1980s diet soda.
That is a very vivid image.
Right. The runner's metabolism, which is the AI algorithm, might be state-of-the-art and incredibly powerful, but if the fuel we're feeding it is based on outdated 300-year-old garbage metrics, the runner is going to collapse at mile 2. The data we feed the system completely dictates the outcome.
Which is why the premium right now is on validated, thoughtful human context. But that brings us to a rather stark contradiction in our stack of sources today.
Yeah, the dark side of all this speed.
Exactly. We are demanding high-quality human input, but the sheer speed and cost of AI output is absolutely crushing the humans expected to keep pace.
I mean, I'm seeing all these new instant generation tools in our stack, and it feels like the barrier to entry has completely evaporated. How fast and cheap are we actually talking here?
The numbers are staggering. Google just released Nano Banana 2 Lite.
Great name, by the way.
Oh, sure. But it generates images in 4 seconds. And the cost is under 4 cents per 1,000 images.
That's basically free.
It is. And alongside it, Gemini OmniFlash video generation is open for 10 cents a second. It's near instantaneous.
And it's everywhere now. There are tools like Advivi.ai generating viral automated video ads for TikTok and Meta instantly via chat.
The volume is just unprecedented.
Yeah, and there's the V0 template gallery accelerating app building. The volume of output is astronomical. But then you look at the human toll in these sources.
That 2026 Creative Boom survey is a tough read.
It really is. They surveyed nearly 900 creative professionals. 69% of them are burnt out. 86% of them use AI, but only 10% actually think it positively impacts them.
It's a profound disconnect. They are using the tools out of necessity, out of fear of falling behind, not out of joy or creative expansion.
Freelancers are incredibly vulnerable right now. Nearly half are earning under £30,000 a year, and they are terrified about fee drops and increased competition.
It's a real crisis of value.
Which makes me want to ask you, and really ask you listening to this, with generation costing mere pennies, taking 4 seconds, are we moving so fast that we're completely devaluing the human element of the creative process?
That is the core anxiety of the industry. But if we look at the source titled, "You're Missing the Point, This is Your Real Value in Tech Companies," it provides a crucial counter-narrative.
Oh, thank God for some good news.
Right. It argues that businesses relying solely on AI automation are quickly discovering that pure AI approaches just create highly generic products. The absolute strongest outcomes aren't AI only, and they aren't human only. They are hybrid.
Oh, like the case study on the Evil Martians agency we saw in the stack.
They are a perfect example. The Evil Martians tried replacing their contract illustrators with a pure AI image generation workflow. They wanted that fraction of a cent speed.
Naturally.
But they eventually moved to a hybrid pipeline. They use AI for the initial generation, harnessing that massive scale, but then they bring in human illustrators from an agency called Coach AI for the final cleanup, the nuance, the soul.
So AI brings the speed and humans bring the strategic judgment.
Exactly.
There's that great piece in the sources about the creativity lessons from the Eiffel Tower, driving home that true creativity is never a solitary genius having a single eureka moment.
It's collaborative.
Yeah, and it's certainly not a single person typing one magical prompt into an AI. True creativity requires multiple collaborators building on past work, layering human judgment over time.
And that layering process inherently involves friction.
Ooh, friction.
Yeah. If pure speed and frictionless AI isn't the silver bullet, then what do people actually want? As digital tasks become entirely effortless, as generating an image takes 4 seconds, we are suddenly seeing immense, quantifiable value placed on things that are difficult, intentional, or distinctly human.
So what does this all mean? I have to push back here because for 20 years, the ultimate dogma of the tech industry was friction is the enemy.
Oh,
So it was always make it seamless, make it one click, remove all the barriers so the user doesn't even have to think. Are you telling me adding friction is actually good now?
Well, look at the case study from Built for Mars in our sources. They were optimizing a sign-up flow, and they found that adding a thoughtful, friction-heavy onboarding step, actually making the user stop, slow down, and answer an optional question, increased signups by 25%.
That's wild. The simpler, obvious, frictionless optimizations had zero effect.
Zero.
Why do people want things to be harder?
Because balancing guidance with user autonomy matters more than just making it easy. Excessive flexibility or removing all friction can actually create psychological reactance.
Like they feel untethered.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Users feel less invested. Friction forces mindfulness. When AI removes all the friction from a process, the end result often loses its meaning. People want to feel invested in what they're doing.
Right.
And this ties directly back to trust, autonomy, and even legality. Think about the accessibility failures mentioned in the Sashing magazine piece.
Where AI-generated UI code is completely inaccessible by default.
Yes, because it learns from semantic shortcuts. AI code often just wants the interface to look right on the surface.
Right, it doesn't care about the foundation.
So instead of using a proper coded button tag that screen readers for visually impaired users can actually understand, the AI might just use a generic box and color it blue. It does things the fast, frictionless way.
And the result of that frictionless code was over 5,000 accessibility lawsuits filed in U.S. courts in 2025 alone. That is massive.
Real accessibility isn't a simple checklist you breeze through. It is an operational capability that requires the friction of CI automation, meaning continuous integration.
Right, slowing down the deployment.
Every single time a developer hits save, the system has to pause, test the code against accessibility standards, and flag issues before it goes live. Doing it right requires slowing down, and users are craving that slower, more intentional digital environment.
You absolutely see it in the aesthetics, too. There is a massive rise in anti-design and nostalgia right now.
Oh, the retro stuff is everywhere.
Right. The open-source RetroMac browser is literally built on modern web tech, but completely mimics the clunky, gray, late 90s browser look.
It's so nostalgic.
We have tools like Tinkerfont for live testing typefaces, and designers are completely obsessed with serif fonts right now. You know, fonts with those little decorative feet on the letters like Kyoto and Fragment Serif.
It's a huge trend.
And the sources explicitly frame this as a direct rebellion against the polished, sterile, frictionless minimalism that we've been drowning in for a decade.
It is a deliberate rejection of the generic perfection that AI produces so easily.
Okay, let's pull all of this together.
Let's do it.
We started with Apple physically shrinking the cutouts on our screens and fundamentally changing our home screen grids, acting as this eager assistant trying to anticipate our every move.
Right.
And then we explored how this probabilistic shift is exposing the messy, hidden infrastructure of our design files, forcing tools like Figma to rigorously count drift and get ISO certified just to prove we can trust them to build the filing cabinet properly in the first place.
And we saw how human-validated knowledge, the actual clean fuel for these models, is becoming the ultimate defensible moat for platforms like Stack Overflow and Base 44.
While at the exact same time, the sheer 4-second, 4-cent speed of AI generation is causing unprecedented burnout among creators, pushing us to realize that human judgment, collaboration, and even our intentional friction are the only real differentiators left.
And this leaves us with a rather profound question to consider. There is one final source we haven't touched on yet.
Oh, the Polaroid campaign?
Yes. Polaroid recently ran an anti-AI billboard campaign. The messaging was bold and minimalist, and it simply read, "The best of summer is analog," encouraging people to literally put down the screens and exist in the physical world.
A camera company literally telling you to log off.
It's powerful, and it raises an important question for all of us navigating this landscape. As digital perfection, infinite AI video, and automated vibe coding become essentially free and instantaneous.
Right, as it all just becomes background noise.
Will our human flaws, our need for friction, our anti-design quirks, and our fundamental need to exist in the physical analog world become the ultimate unautomatable luxury of the 21st century?
Wow. I love that. The idea that being imperfect and existing in the physical world is the ultimate luxury. We highly encourage you to mull that over on your next walk, preferably outside, actually touching grass. Thank you so much for joining us and for diving deep into these sources with us today.
Spoken Tech for your ears.